it's truly sad that there is no unbiased, credible news source available to us at this current point in time. Without a doubt, the media is absolutely public enemy number one. I think Trump might have said that at some point in time during one of his campaign speeches. It's probably the only sensible thing the man ever said, was that the media was America's greatest enemy. Of course, his answer is to create his own media outlet, Truth Social, and spew his countless lies. So that's not, he's definitely not the answer. But he did make that one statement that was true out of the billions of other statements he's made that are completely idiotic. But anyway, there is no one single source that you can go to get the straight news from about anything. You used to be able to go on to Twitter and you could follow a certain news channel or something and you might get the true story, but it seems like that's not even an option anymore. Now that Twitter is X and Elroy's in charge, he's got that thing so fucked up it's not even a credible source of entertainment at times. There really is just no answer. I find that you hear about something through whatever means, the radio, on TV, and you have to go to Google, and you have to Google the situation and click on a half dozen different links and read a couple different articles and kind of weigh it's amazing the differences that you get depending on where the information comes from. I've almost found that the one credible source, anyway, that seems to be credible is AP, Associated Press. They seem to be pretty straight and narrow, but even some of their stuff you have to fact check. But it's really dangerous because people go off on these tangents and go off on these rants about things that they hear in the media or they hear on social media, and they take it as the word of God, and it's completely not. Especially with everything that's going on right now, everything that's going on in the Middle East. If you listen to social media, you would think that President Biden went over to Israel and pledged $100 million to Hamas to support Hamas. That's not what happened. He didn't pledge $100 million to Hamas. He didn't pledge $100 million to Palestine. He didn't pledge $100 million to any organization specifically at all. What the man did was pledge that America would provide $100 million of humanitarian relief, which is happening right now. And the way they're doing that is it's being provided by Egypt, because Egypt happens to be the only other country besides Israel that borders Gaza. And the border between Gaza and Egypt had been closed because Egypt, in response to Hamas attacking Israel and all the fighting between the two of them, Egypt was like, fuck you, stay out. And they closed the only road that goes between Egypt and Gaza, effectively shutting off any flow of supplies from the Arab nations. And the $100 million, it's not just America that's providing the money. That's just what we're providing. Other nations, this thing called the United Nations, I don't know if you ever heard of that. You certainly don't hear them mentioned at all on social media or on most of the news channels, but the aid is actually being provided under the watch of the United Nations. And the United Nations pressured Egypt to reopen the road into Gaza so the humanitarian supplies could flow into Gaza. The United Nations is also charged with providing, watching over the delivery of those supplies so that the supplies don't fall into the hands of who? Wait for it. Hamas. Because Hamas is a terrorist group who claims to represent the Palestinian people. Does Hamas represent all of Palestine? Obviously not, because Hamas attacked the West Bank. The West Bank is a Palestinian settlement under control of Israel. It's all out there, people. All you have to do is Google and then make sense of the shit you read. You can't just Google something and click on the first link that comes up and, oh, well, this is the truth. It doesn't work that way. You've got to read several different viewpoints on stuff and then put it all together using common sense, which I think is the missing equation for most people nowadays, and make an informed decision. So anyway, be very careful where you get your news from. I'm not even saying that Associated Press is the gospel, because there's some things that they've reported that aren't necessarily true, because they just print what the reporters give them, and some reporters have an agenda. So you have to be careful. But anyway, that's the take on media. It's just terrible that you have to go through all that trouble to get the real story on something. Anyway.